Hey, Flo here. Just getting started. I already did 2 readings this morning, so that's why if you're really paying close attention, the number skips up a little bit on the WordHike. I hiked up the WordHike on my hike today. Alright, so I'll get this angle just how I want it. So I'm going to try to do several Bible readings today, so I'm going to not spend a lot of time dilly-dallying and stuff, because I want to make sure to get in as many readings as I can. I'm going to do one here, and then I'm going to turn the camera around because behind me is another cool spot, so I'll do 2 readings here, I think. Alright. Oh, let me start my audio recording. I think I have everything working today, more or less. There's always some weird technical issues that jump out of nowhere, but should be good. I think the weather's going to cooperate at least for part of the day, if not the whole day. There was like an uncertainty in the forecast that I looked up. Couldn't really figure out exactly what was going to go on. At the moment, it's awesome. It actually sprinkled a little bit this morning. I got a really early start. Started the hike while it was still dark. So I don't do that often enough to feel comfortable with it. Like I actually delayed my start a little bit because it was pitch black when I first got here. It just felt a little bit creepy. I'm not really super experienced with night hiking. Like if I had somebody with me, no big deal, not a problem. But just being by myself, and there was like nobody at the trailhead, so I just felt like, okay, I'm the only person up here and I'm hiking in the dark. It just felt kind of weird. So I waited till the sun was, and the sun wasn't nearly up, it was still dark, but it was like kind of that twilight or whatever time where you could just barely see, but not quite. Anyway, and at that time it was actually sprinkling a little bit, so that's why I have my raincoat on. Plus it's pretty cold out today. Oh wow, interesting. I just noticed the mountain that's over that way, which I'll show in a minute, or after I'm done with this reading, it had snow on it this morning, and it still has some, but it's very quickly melting off because of the sun. So that snow must have been from last night then, I guess. Unless it's been there for a couple of days and just took a while to melt off, but I'm surprised. Like I've only been out here for, I don't know, an hour and a half or 2 hours, I don't know. Time is going fast. Yeah, I guess I've been here for 2 hours. I started the hike 2 hours ago, but I've mostly been sitting here at different spots reading. I did a couple of readings already. Anyway, when I first got here, there was snow all over the mountain, and now it's like almost gone, so it's surprising how quickly that melted off. Where's my other phone? Anyway, part of the reason I came out today, I was pretty disappointed that I didn't get to do any Bible readings on that last mega hike. I think it ended up being 16 miles, which kind of blows my mind. did not feel that long at all. But I finally got my GPS tracks, my Garmin stuff processed, and that's what it was telling me. Whoa, got some lumpy ground here. Anyway, I got a really late start that day, and ended up having that story where I was hiking with that girl, which was super fun. I'm glad that happened, but I was super disappointed that I didn't do any Bible readings, because that was my intent for the day. And so I'm trying to make up for it today. I came to the same place. There was a permit available, so I'm like, okay, I got to do it, just so I can get one amazing Bible reading sequence in this series. Yeah, this will be the best one, like possibly of the whole series, like the entire year's worth of reading. This might be the best location that I'm able to do, just because it's so exotic and raw nature and stuff. It's just this area is amazing. And I'll get up, hopefully I'll have time to, like, I'm gonna book it down to the end of the trail and maybe try to get up to the ridge on the mountain where I can get some really cool shots, and do some readings up there if I can. Otherwise, if I feel like I'm running out of time, I'll stop at some places on the way. But I'm thinking I might try to go up to the mountain, do some stuff up there, and then on my way back I can do some of the readings that I was thinking to do along the way. This is one that I wasn't planning, though. I just decided to walk up here to see what it's all about, and looks pretty awesome. I'm going to walk that way toward the mountain a little bit and see if I can get an up close and personal with the mountain shot, and maybe do another reading up there. So anyway, let's get done with the monologue and start the reading. So like I said, this is the third reading I've done. Actually, I did 1.5 because the first one was kind of a finishing up the last reading that I did in like 3 parts because of the rain and whatever stuff last time. The rain, and I got out massively late. Oh, that's a short chapter. Okay, so we got a bunch of Psalms and James. This will be a pretty short reading overall, because looks like all the Psalms are pretty short. All right, so for those who are really into the chronological thing, sorry that it's kind of weird. It's kind of messed up, because sometimes I do local recordings on my phone and then I upload them later, and then sometimes I do these actual live streams, so they get a little bit out of sequence, but I do number them in sequence, so if you're watching like sometime in the future, though, you can just follow the number sequence. But yeah, for the 0.005 people that watch my streams on a regular basis, it'll be a little bit confusing on the numbering. I already read James 1 in the last reading, but that wasn't a live stream, so I'll upload that later. All right, so we got Psalms 123 to 125 and 128 to 130 and James chapter 2. Let's do it. Psalm chapter 123, a song of ascents. I lift up my eyes to you, the one enthroned in heaven. As the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maidservant look to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes are on the Lord our God until he shows us mercy. Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy, for we have endured much contempt. We have endured much scorn from the arrogant, much contempt from the proud. A super short one. Psalm chapter 124, a song of ascents of David. If the Lord had not been on our side, let Israel now declare. If the Lord had not been on our side when men attacked us, when their anger flared against us, then they would have swallowed us alive. Then the floods would have engulfed us. Then the torrent would have overwhelmed us. Then the raging waters would have swept us away. Blessed be the Lord, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the snare of the fowler. The net is torn, and we have slipped away. Our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Psalm chapter 125, a song of ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion. It cannot be moved, it abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people, both now and forevermore. For the scepter of the wicked will not rest upon the land allotted to the righteous, so that the righteous will not put forth their hands to injustice. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to the upright in heart. But those who turn to crooked ways the Lord will banish with the evildoers. Peace be upon Israel. Psalm chapter 128, a song of ascents. Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in his ways. For when you eat the fruit of your labor, blessings and prosperity will be yours. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine flourishing within your house, your sons like olive shoots sitting around your table. In this way, indeed, shall blessing come to the man who fears the Lord. May the Lord bless you from Zion, that you may see the prosperity of Jerusalem all the days of your life, that you may see your children's children. Peace be upon Israel. Psalm chapter 129, a song of ascents. Many a time they have persecuted me from my youth. Let Israel now declare. Many a time they have persecuted me from my youth, but they have not prevailed against me. The plowmen plowed over my back. They made their furrows long. The Lord is righteous. He has cut me from the cords of the wicked. May all who hate Zion be turned back in shame. May they be like grass on the rooftops, which withers before it can grow, unable to fill the hands of the reaper or the arms of the binder of sheaves. May none who pass by say to them, "The blessing of the Lord be on you. We bless you in the name of the Lord." Psalm chapter 130, a song of ascents. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to my plea for mercy. If you, O Lord, kept track of iniquities, then who, O Lord, could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, so that you may be feared. I wait for the Lord. My soul does wait, and in his word I put my hope. My soul waits for the Lord more than watchmen wait for the morning, more than watchmen wait for the morning. O Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for with the Lord is loving devotion, and with him is redemption in abundance, and he will redeem Israel from all iniquity. Whew, cold breeze. It may look really nice up here, but it is very, very cold. Like, it might not, I think it's a little bit above freezing, but just barely. It's probably like in the 30s. while I'm thinking about it, whoa, I don't know if I did it. Oh man, that chair is so hard to get out of. I don't remember if I did a mic test. That would be horrific if all this time the microphone wasn't connected or something like that. Just double check. Okay, we're good. Make sure that slides are working. Yep. Okay. Kind of checked it, but just gotta make sure. Technically, with all the scripts I've written now, I can fix all that later. As crazy as that sounds, but it's better not to have to, that's for sure. It takes a long time to do it. Whew. Alright, last chapter in this reading, then I'm going to turn right around and get a different angle over there. There's some hikers. There's a trail down there, which I'm probably going to go on that trail eventually. But I decided to take this side trail to see what it's all about. Got a drink. Oh, speaking of drink, I need to mark this place. James chapter 2. My brothers, as you hold out your faith in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ, do not show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in shabby clothes also comes in. If you lavish attention on the man in fine clothes and say, "Here is a seat of honor," but say to the poor man, "You must stand," or "Sit at my feet," have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my beloved brothers. Has not God chosen the poor of this world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor. Is it not the rich who oppress you and drag you into court? Are they not the ones who blaspheme the noble name by which you have been called? If you really fulfill the royal law stated in Scripture, "Love your neighbor as yourself," you are doing well. But if you show favoritism, you sin and are convicted by the law as transgressors. Whoever keeps the whole law but stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it. For he who said, "Do not commit adultery," also said, "Do not murder." If you do not commit adultery, but you do commit murder, you have become a lawbreaker. Speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom. For judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Mercy triumphs over judgment. What good is it, my brothers, if someone claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save him? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you tells him, 'Go in peace, stay warm and well fed,' but does not provide for his physical needs, what good is that? So too, faith by itself, if it does not result in action, is dead. But someone will say, 'You have faith, and I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds.' You believe that God is one. Good for you. Even the demons believe that and shudder. O foolish man, do you want evidence that faith without deeds is worthless? Was not our father Abraham justified by what he did when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see that his faith was working with his actions, and his faith was perfected by what he did. And the scripture was fulfilled that says, 'Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called a friend of God.' As you can see, a man is justified by his deeds and not by faith alone. In the same way, was not even Rahab the prostitute justified by her actions when she welcomed the spies and sent them off on another route? As the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds is dead. All right. Whoa. Okay, I'm going to keep this stream going, I think. I could start it over and do another one, but it's just right behind me what I want to do next, so I may as well just flip the camera around and do another reading over there. Gotta find the optimum angle though, walk around for a minute or two to find the best spot, which is right here, I think. So cold, I got the runny nose thing going on. Actually, putting the camera down here for that last one would have been good too, but oh well, it was fine where it was. All right. Shaky footage coming up. Okay. Yeah, it's cold. Well, I didn't realize we finished 1 Samuel. I guess it makes sense, but I just didn't realize it. Alright, can we agree that these views are ridiculous? Because it's not going to get much better than this. Alright, we're going to be reading 2 Samuel chapters 1 through 4, Psalms 14 and 21, and James 3. Get a couple pictures while I'm thinking about it. Oh man, this is ridiculous. Oh, it's cold. Second Samuel chapter 1. After the death of Saul, David returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites and stayed in Ziklag 2 days. On the third day, a man with torn clothes and dust on his head arrived from Saul's camp. When he came to David, he fell to the ground to pay him homage. "Where have you come from?" David asked. "I have escaped from the Israelite camp," he replied. "What was the outcome?" David asked. "Please tell me." "The troops fled from the battle," he replied. "Many of them fell and died, and Saul and his son Jonathan are also dead." Then David asked the young man who had brought him the report, "How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead?" "I happened to be on Mount Gilboa," he replied, "and there was Saul leaning on his spear, with the chariots and the cavalry closing in on him. When he turned around and saw me, he called out, and I answered, 'Here I am.' 'Who are you?' he asked. So I told him, 'I am an Amalekite.' Then he begged me, 'Stand over me and kill me, for agony has seized me, but my life still lingers.' So I stood over him and killed him, because I knew that after he had fallen, he could not survive. And I took the crown that was on his head and the band that was on his arm, and I have brought them here to my Lord." Then David took hold of his own clothes and tore them, and all the men who were with him did the same. They mourned and wept and fasted until evening for Saul and his son Jonathan, and for the people of the Lord and the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. And David inquired of the young man who had brought him the report, "Where are you from?" "I am the son of a foreigner," he answered. "I am an Amalekite." So David asked him, "Why were you not afraid to lift your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?" Then David summoned one of the young men and said, "Go, execute him." So the young man struck him down, and he died. For David had said to the Amalekite, "Your blood be on your own head, because your own mouth has testified against you, saying, 'I killed the Lord's anointed.'" Then David took up this lament for Saul and his son Jonathan, and he ordered that the sons of Judah be taught the song of the bow. It is written in the book of Jashar. "Your glory, O Israel, lies slain on your heights. How the mighty have fallen. Tell it not in Gath. Proclaim it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, and the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. O mountains of Gilboa, may you have no dew or rain, no fields yielding offerings of grain. For there the shield of the mighty was defiled, the shield of Saul no longer anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan did not retreat, and the sword of Saul did not return empty. Saul and Jonathan, beloved and delightful in life, were not divided in death. They were swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. O daughters of Israel, weep for Saul, who clothed you in scarlet and luxury, who decked your garments with ornaments of gold. How the mighty have fallen in the thick of battle. Jonathan lies slain on your heights. I grieve for you, Jonathan, my brother. You were delightful to me. Your love to me was extraordinary, surpassing the love of women. How the mighty have fallen, and the weapons of war have perished. Second Samuel chapter 2. Sometime later David inquired of the Lord, "Should I go up to one of the towns of Judah?" "Go up," the Lord answered. Then David asked, "Where should I go?" "To Hebron," replied the Lord. So David went there with his 2 wives, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail the widow of Nabal of Carmel. David also took the men who were with him, each with his household, and they settled in the towns near Hebron. Then the men of Judah came to Hebron, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, "It was the men of Jabesh Gilead who buried Saul." So David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead to tell them, "The Lord bless you, because you showed this kindness to Saul your lord when you buried him. Now may the Lord show you loving devotion and faithfulness, and I will also show you the same favor because you have done this. Now then, be strong and courageous, for though Saul your lord is dead, the house of Judah has anointed me as their king." Meanwhile, Abner son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army, took Saul's son Ishbosheth, moved him to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, Asher, Jezreel, Ephraim, and Benjamin, over all Israel. Saul's son Ishbosheth was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned for 2 years. The house of Judah, however, followed David. And the length of time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. One day Abner son of Ner and the servants of Ishbosheth son of Saul marched out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. So Joab son of Zeruiah, along with the servants of David, marched out and met them by the pool of Gibeon. And the 2 camps took up positions on opposite sides of the pool. Then Abner said to Joab, "Let us have the young men get up and compete before us." "Let them get up," Joab replied. So they got up and were counted off, 12 for Benjamin and Ishbosheth son of Saul, and 12 for David. Then each man grabbed his opponent by the head and thrust his sword into the Then each man grabbed his opponent by the head and thrust his sword into his opponent's side, and they all fell together. So this place, which is in Gibeon, is called Helkath Hazurim. The battle that day was intense, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by the servants of David. The three sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Now Asahel was fleet of foot, like a wild gazelle, and he chased Abner, not turning to the right or to the left in his pursuit. And Abner glanced back and said, "Is that you, Asahel?" "It is," Asahel replied. So Abner told him, "Turn to your right or to your left, seize one of the young men, and take his equipment for yourself." But Asahel would not stop chasing him. Once again Abner warned Asahel, "Stop chasing me. Why should I strike you to the ground? How could I show my face to your brother Joab?" But Asahel refused to turn away. So Abner thrust the butt of his spear into his stomach, and it came out his back, and he fell dead on the spot. And every man paused when he came to the place where Asahel had fallen and died. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner. By sunset they had gone as far as the hill of Ammah, opposite Giah, on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. The Benjamites rallied to Abner, formed a single unit, and took their stand atop a hill. Then Abner called out to Joab, "Must the sword devour forever? Do you not realize that this will only end in bitterness? How long before you tell the troops to stop pursuing their brothers?" "As surely as God lives," Joab replied, "if you had not spoken up, the troops would have continued pursuing their brothers until morning." So Joab blew the ram's horn, and all the troops stopped. They no longer pursued Israel or continued to fight. And all that night Abner and his men marched through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, marched all morning, and arrived at Mahanaim. When Joab returned from pursuing Abner, he gathered all the troops. In addition to Asahel, 19 of David's servants were missing. But they had struck down 360 Benjamites who were with Abner. Later they took Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb in Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men marched all night and reached Hebron by daybreak. Then Joab and all his men marched all night and reached Hebron at daybreak. Second Samuel chapter 3. Now the war between the house of Saul and the house of David was protracted, and David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. And sons were born to David in Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon by Ahinoam of Jezreel. His second was Chileab by Abigail the widow of Nabal of Carmel. His third was Absalom, the son of Maacah, daughter of King Talmai of Geshur. His fourth was Adonijah, the son of Haggith. His fifth was Shephatiah, the son of Abital. And his sixth was Athriam by David's wife Eglah. These sons were born to David in Hebron. During the war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner had continued to strengthen his position in the house of Saul. Meanwhile, Saul had a concubine named Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. So Ishbosheth questioned Abner, "Why did you sleep with my father's concubine?" Abner was furious over Ishbosheth's accusation. "Am I the head of a dog that belongs to Judah?" he asked. "All this time I have been loyal to the house of your father Saul, to his brothers and to his friends. I have not delivered you into the hand of David, but now you accuse me of wrongdoing with this woman? May God punish Abner, and ever so severely, if I do not do for David what the Lord has sworn to him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to establish the throne of David over Israel and Judah, from Dan to Beersheba." And for fear of Abner, Ishbosheth did not dare say another word to him. Then Abner sent messengers in his place to say to David, "To whom does the land belong? Make your covenant with me, and surely my hand will be with you to bring all Israel over to you." "Good," replied David, "I will make a covenant with you, but there is one thing I require of you. Do not appear before me unless you bring Saul's daughter Michal when you come to see me." Then David sent messengers to say to Ishbosheth, son of Saul, "Give me back my wife Michal, whom I betrothed to myself for 100 Philistine foreskins." So Ishbosheth sent and took Michal from her husband Paltiel, son of Laish. Her husband followed her, weeping all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go back." So he returned home. Now Abner conferred with the elders of Israel and said, "In the past you sought David as your king. Now take action, because the Lord has said to David, 'Through my servant David I will save my people Israel from the hands of the Philistine. Through my servant David I will save my people Israel from the hands of the Philistines and of all their enemies.'" Abner also spoke to the Benjamites and went to Hebron to tell David all that seemed good to Israel and to the whole house of Benjamin. When Abner and 20 of his men came to David at Hebron, David held a feast for them. Then Abner said to David, "Let me go at once, and I will gather all Israel to my lord the king, that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may rule over all that your heart desires." So David dismissed Abner, and he went in peace. Just then David's soldiers and Joab returned from a raid, bringing with them a great plunder. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, because David had sent him on his way in peace. When Joab and all his troops arrived, he was informed, "Abner, son of Ner, came to see the king, who sent him on his way in peace." So Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Look, Abner came to you. Why did you dismiss him? Now he is getting away. Surely you realize that Abner, son of Ner, came to deceive you and to track your movements and all that you were doing." As soon as Joab had left David, he sent messengers after Abner, who brought him back from the well of Sirah. But David was unaware of it. When Abner returned to Hebron, Joab pulled him aside into the gateway, as if to speak to him privately. And there Joab stabbed him in the stomach. So Abner died on account of the blood of Joab's brother Asahel. Afterward David heard about this and said, "I and my kingdom are forever guiltless before the Lord concerning the blood of Abner, son of Ner. May it whirl over the heads of Joab and the entire house of his father, and may the house of Joab never be without one having a discharge or skin disease, or one who leans on a staff, or falls by the sword, or lacks food." Joab and his brother Abishai murdered Abner because he had killed their brother Asahel in the battle at Gibeon. Then David ordered Joab and all the people with him, "Tear your clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourn before Abner." And King David himself walked behind the funeral bier. I actually don't know what that word is. I'm not familiar, so I said it both ways, and I can choose which one is right later. Probably beer, but I don't know. When they buried Abner in Hebron, the king wept aloud at Abner's tomb, and all the people wept. And the king sang this lament for Abner: "Should Abner die the death of a fool? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not fettered. As a man falls before the wicked, so also you fell." And all the people wept over him even more. Then all the people came and urged David to eat something while it was still day. But David took an oath, saying, "May God punish me, and ever so severely, if I taste bread or anything else before the sun sets." All the people took note and were pleased. In fact, everything the king did pleased them. So on that day all the troops and all Israel were convinced that the king had no part in the murder of Abner, son of Ner. Then the king said to his servants, Do you not realize that a great prince has fallen today in Israel? And I am weak this day, though anointed as king, and these men, the sons of Zeruiah, are too fierce for me. May the Lord repay the evildoer according to his evil. Second Samuel chapter 4. Now when Ishbosheth son of Saul heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost courage, and all Israel was dismayed. Saul's son had 2 men who were leaders of raiding parties. One was named Baanah, and the other Rechab. They were sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite of the tribe of Benjamin. Beeroth is considered part of Benjamin, because the Beerothites fled to Gittaim and had lived because the Beerothites fled to Gittaim and have lived there as foreigners to this day. And Jonathan son of Saul had a son who was lame in his feet. He was 5 years old when the report about Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel. His nurse picked him up and fled, but as she was hurrying to escape, he fell and became lame. His name was Mephibosheth. Now Rechab and Baanah, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, set out and arrived at the house of Ishbosheth in the heat of the day, while the king was taking his midday nap. They entered the interior of the house as if to get some wheat, and they stabbed him in the stomach. Then Rechab and his brother Baanah slipped away. They had entered the house while Ishbosheth was lying on his bed, and having stabbed and killed him, they beheaded him, took his head, and traveled all night by way of the Arabah. They brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron, and said to the king, "Here is the head of Ishbosheth son of Saul, your enemy who sought your life. Today the Lord has granted vengeance to my lord the king against Saul and his offspring." But David answered Rechab and his brother Baanah, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, "As surely as the Lord lives, who has redeemed my life from all distress. When someone told me, 'Look, Saul is dead,' and thought he was a bearer of good news, I seized him and put him to death at Ziklag. That was his reward for his news. How much more, when wicked men kill a righteous man in his own house and on his own bed, shall I not now require his blood from your hands and remove you from the earth?" So David commanded his young men, and they killed Rechab and Baanah. They cut off their hands and feet and hung their bodies by the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in Abner's tomb in Hebron. Psalm chapter 14. For the choirmaster, of David. The fool says in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupt. Their acts are vile. There is no one who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven upon the sons of man. The Lord looks down from heaven upon the sons of men to see if any understand, if any seek God. All have turned away. They have together become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. Will the workers of iniquity never learn? They devour my people like bread. They refuse to call upon the Lord. There they are, overwhelmed with dread. For God is in the company of the righteous. You sinners frustrate the plans of the oppressed, yet the Lord is their shelter. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come from Zion. When the Lord restores his captive people, let Jacob rejoice, let Israel be glad. Psalm chapter 21. For the choirmaster, a psalm of David. O Lord, the King rejoices in your strength. How greatly he exults in your salvation. You have granted his heart's desire and have not withheld the request of his lips. Selah. For you welcomed him with rich blessings. You placed on his head a crown of pure gold. He asked you for life, and you granted it, length of days forever and ever. Great is his glory in your salvation. You bestow on him splendor and majesty. For you grant him blessings forever. You cheer him with joy in your presence. For the king trusts in the Lord. Through the loving devotion of the Most High, he will not be shaken. Your hand will apprehend all your enemies. Your right hand will seize those who hate you. You will place them in a fiery furnace at the time of your appearing. In his wrath the Lord will engulf them, and the fire will consume them. You will wipe their descendants from the earth, and their offspring from the sons of men. Though they intend you harm, the schemes they devise will not prevail. For you will put them to flight when your bow is trained upon them. Be exalted, O Lord, in your strength. We will sing and praise your power. James chapter 3. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly. We all stumble in many ways. If anyone is never at fault in what he says, he is a perfect man, able to control his whole body. When we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we can guide the whole animal. Consider ships as well. Although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot is inclined. In the same way, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it boasts of great things. Consider how small a spark sets a great forest ablaze. The tongue also is a fire, a world of wickedness among the parts of the body. It pollutes the whole person, sets the course of his life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and creatures of the sea are being tamed and have been tamed by man. But no man can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With the tongue we bless our Lord and Father, and with it we curse men, who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? My brothers, can a fig tree grow olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show it by his good conduct, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast in it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every evil practice. But the wisdom from above is first of all pure, then peace-loving, gentle, accommodating, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap the fruit of righteousness. All right, I made it. Ugh. So I think I'll end this stream here. Well, not this one, but that one. And I'll probably do more readings a little bit later, but I might try to go up on that hill where you see that little zigzag trail, just to see what it's like up there. I kind of want to get up close to the mountain, and if there's a signal up there, I'll do a live stream or at least a recording and post it later. But I've never been up in that spot before, and it seems like it would be pretty awesome. So that's where I'm going to head. I could just keep live streaming, but I want to spare my batteries and not fill up my entire phone with videos that I can't, so I can't do more later. So Anyway, I will be back on later probably, so thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.